we're going to look at how to migrate a site from the local environment to like a actual website, like maybe google.com, where someone can actually see it. So this is a site we worked on locally with Local by Flywheel here, and then we will be moving the site look online. So first off, let's also talk about how you can actually host it without like a quick way of hosting this. So in case you are working on a site and you want to share quick feedback with your client, and you don't have the funds to purchase the hosting yet, because you just want the client to look at it before you even take it online, there's a quick way of doing that. So when you go to Local by Flywheel here, you would open that particular project. So in my case, it's called Generation. So below it, you see something that says live link here. So you click on enable, then it generates a live link for you. But in case you haven't logged in with your local account, you have to. So when you click on the enable, they will ask you to log in. So then it takes you to a page where you log in here, which I just did to save time. So once it logs you in, you just click on open local to continue, and then it opens it back, and now you can enable it. So when that is done, you click on enable here. It creates a tunnel site that only works when your laptop is on, and you will share this information with your clients. So this is the URL, and then the username and password here as well. So for example, anybody in the chat who visits this link will be asked to input the username and password, which is mustard and descriptive for the password. Descriptive. Click on sign in, and he or she would be able to see the site. Oh, so anyone else will be able to log in with this link when they have the username and password local generates. Now, this only works, as it says here, it's only viewable when the computer is turned on and connected to the internet. So with this approach, you have to leave your computer turned on for the client to be able to preview the link. So that is one disadvantage with this approach. Let me scroll down here. So let me click cache something. So that is something to take note of. I'm wondering why the image here is not loading. Let me double check why that might be the case. Open a new tab. Yeah, so the image is actually available. I'm just not sure why it's not loading on the front end. In any case, so this is, see if there is a console error that, oh, okay, something is blocked. Okay. Anyways, I think this is unrelated too. So that's one easy way. Now, let's say the client loves the site and wants to get it live. So let me come back to my local. The client loves the site, wants to get it live. What do we do now? So the first is we need to get the hosting and domain. The hosting, for those who may not really know, the hosting is like it's like a company that makes sure, you see how in this case my laptop has to be on for people to view my site. We can say the hosting is like, it's a server that never goes off, and your site is always available 24/7. Some hosting has like downtimes, and other hostings don't really have that much downtimes. So we would first assume there is no hosting and talk about how to host it. Okay, so let's start with the hosting. So the hosting and domain, they have so many choices to choose, like to get. So let me take us here. So there's a hosting I've used for like 5 years now. I recently switched to something else. It's called iPage. iPage. So you search for iPage, you go here. Now the thing I like about iPage is that for the first, like, I chose iPage because of a plan they have, which is the 3-year plan. So for the first 3 years, you can get it like at a very reduced price. Give me a moment. So let's choose to get started. So I only like iPage because of their 3-year upfront hosting plan. Let me look for that here. I don't see that here. Give me a moment. It comes at $71.64. Not sure, I'm not seeing it here. Or okay, I know it got acquired recently, but I haven't purchased any since then. So I can't tell. I paid 3 year hosting. I'm not sure, I'm not seeing. Let me see. Yeah, so this was the one they used to do. So it offers yeah, $2 per month for 3 years. And I'm surprised I'm not seeing it anymore. I don't know if the fact that they partnered with Bluehost is what has taken off that package, but I haven't purchased a new host in a long time, so I don't know. Okay, let me choose get started and see if I can figure out why. Um, oh, this is definitely not expected from iPage because okay, let me see web hosting. Okay, view plans maybe. Okay, looks like still okay. So this is $2.95 per month. Okay, give me a moment. Looks like the UI has totally changed for me since the last time I tried buying a new hosting and domain. Okay, let me attempt to choose any of them. Maybe I'll see the option when I'm going to check out. Because okay, so let's type some gibberish domain name. Search for it. Definitely going to be available. Okay, it is available for free. So they give you like the first year domain free. Let me choose 3 years and see if I get that. Um, let me take out. Okay, these are all free. Okay. Let's see. Subtotal 300. Nah, this is not what. Nope. This is definitely not what I. Nah, this is okay. Well, I haven't purchased iPages in a while, so I guess I didn't expect that they've taken off their plan. But then they had a plan where for 71, I remember the figure so well because I used to purchase that almost every time. For $71.64, you get 3 years upfront hosting with a free domain for the first year. But it looks like that plan is no longer available. So let's move away from my page. I don't think I'll purchase any or recommend anyone to purchase at this point because back then it used to be like that, but this time it's like they've changed. So let's switch to what I'm currently using now, which is Host for those based in Ghana and probably across the world. So says Ghana is number one professional hosting and domain. And this is actually after reviews with a number of hostings in Ghana, for example. I think there is OGD Web Host as well, also in Ghana. I think OGD has slightly higher prices than Host. So you can just say hosting providers in Ghana. Then you get a list and then you can choose from there. So I have been with Host for some time now. I think 3 years and I paid 5 years. But Host is also reliable. So you go to stomachhost.com, hover over the hosting, then click on the hosting. So we have different types of hosting plans. I'm going to pause here. Am I moving too fast or is okay?
It's okay for me.
Cool. Okay, cool. So we have Linux shared hosting, we have WordPress hosting, we have Windows hosting. These are all different types of hosting plan you may choose to go with. And I'm going to briefly talk about them. So Linux shared hosting is if you want a Linux server. And then the fact that it's a shared hosting means like so it's like the hosting thing, or it's really costly to have like your own dedicated hosting, which is down here, dedicated hosting, which is like you only want your resources to be on that hosting server. So imagine these hosts as like giant companies in the cloud that are sharing space that we are buying for space, like rent. So it's like online rent. So these servers never go off, like never. So it's like you are buying rent. So this one you are sharing with other people to pay the rent. So in this case, the server doesn't just keep your site alive, it keeps other people's alive that are within that that next or that cluster. So for those who have done AWS or something around um, clusters, Kubernetes, I don't know, this will make more sense to you. I think Duke has done something. Can you touch a bit on how the server hosting stuff work? Shared hosting versus like dedicated hosting. Duke, can you go on mute and share? Hi,
Hello,
Duke.
Kingsley. Please, could you repeat
Yes.
the question again?
Okay, you have a certification in AWS, right?
No, that is Victoria, I think so.
Oh, okay, there you go, Victoria. Please redeem yourself.
Hi. I was actually looking for how to put it like very simple. Like I understand what you said, but how to say it for others to understand was what I was going through. So a shared hosting, just as Kingsley said, assuming you are renting a room alone, that's that's your private hosting. But if you are sharing that room, so let's say if it's the total square meters is 100, then probably you are sharing it 2020 or 1010, and then you pay, and it's cheaper that way. But if you want to have it all to yourself, that is the dedicated host. But if you don't want to have it all to yourself, that's a share
So
hosting, and we
yeah,
have
that's great. Can you
cluster
share some of
hosting
the
is
reasons why
different.
one should go for maybe dedicated over shared? I mean, definitely you
Um,
get and
yes,
reliability.
yes, but then most of the times it depends on the business, and some of them, because they might have certain sensitive license and policies and things that they have to oblige to, they are not allowed to share their environment with anybody else. So let's say, assuming if it's the United States, let's say their federal government, if they want to, or their FB or something like that, if they want to have a host, they would want to have it alone because they have so many sensitive informations that by mistake, even though AWS will guarantee you that it won't happen, but they would want to be on the safer side. So such a human being would prefer, I need my own hosting. I don't want to share with party A or party B. And even though you are sharing with them, your informations will not mix. Like you are sharing the same room, but then let's say there's how do you call it? A partitioner um dividing your database. So you might be sharing a core memory, but then you have like the way you have a computer, you have users in the computer. Until maybe user A has access to user B, you can't go into user B's private space. It's something like that.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Thanks for that addition. Yeah, so as you can see here, the shared hosting is very cheap, like 108 CDs for a year, compared with something like a dedicated hosting, which is 1,000 for a month. So you can tell there's a lot of resources that will be, so maybe your site will load faster and security and all those other benefits. But for our purposes and for the most part, any of these two should be fine. Linux shared hosting or WordPress hosting should be fine. You can reach the others if it aligns with what you need it to do. And this one is what something I'll talk about. So this is reseller hosting, and if you want to kickstart like a web hosting and domain company, this might be what you might go for. So you can even start a business where so a reseller hosting is someone who hosts other people's website, like a hosting company for them. So you can also choose this option and you can create your own business out of this hosting stuff. So you would be something like a stomach host as well. And then you can also charge clients for hosting services. So all these are there, but for our purposes, these two should be fine. So if it's a WordPress site, you choose this. If it's a like a normal HTML, CSS, or whatever site, you choose the first one. So in this case, let's choose the second since it's a WordPress site, and then go through the options. So we have all these packages here. For all intents and purposes, for the most part, I think this should be fine. the 300 plan, the 300 cities plan. This is only if you have like your own domain and maybe you just want to test some things out. Like you don't really want to like I don't know how to put it. It's like you're just playing around with something and you want a hosting. But I'll say for the most part, this is the most reasonable option to choose because they give you your first domain for free. So in that case, you wouldn't buy a domain name. Like it's all part of the hosting for the first year. So whatever domain name you want, you don't need to go anywhere to buy the domain. You already have the option of having your domain name. You have 400 gig monthly bandwidth. So bandwidth is like the people who are trying to access your website is like it counts every accessing of your website as a bandwidth. So if 10,000 people are opening your site at the time and they are downloading, maybe your site is maybe 10 megabytes of resources and they are downloading 10 megabytes, it's going to take away from the 400 gig. So it's like it gets to a point, if you're getting too many users, your site will go down for those people who are like, let's say, maybe the first 30,000 people have opened your site. The remaining ones, if they've consumed all this gig, they won't see your site. Like your site wouldn't load for them. So that's like the bandwidth explanation. And then the data storage is how big your site can be. Not just your one site, all your sites together. They shouldn't exceed 10 gigabytes of data. So the same applies to this. So this one says unmetered. And honestly, I think the unmetered is usually metered, but then maybe they think it's a higher cap that they don't need to specify it here. And then I've talked about this. So free domain renewal. So what this means is if after the first year you would have to pay to renew your domain. I think it's about 180 CDs. I would confirm as we proceed. So this free SSL. SSL is like getting your site to have this HTTPS connection is secure stuff. Then add-on domains. What this means is you can actually buy this plan and then you can add two more domains that you've bought. So in case you have like maybe your first client needs a domain and hosting, you buy this one, and then when you get another client again, uh, you only need to buy the domain this time because you already have the hosting. So you can add two additional domains. So you buy once and it can serve like three clients, the first client and two additional ones. And this is FTP account, which is file transfer protocol account. So this is like you can create like they give you like you can create credentials to access the site files from your local machine without having to log into the hosting server. So this is FTP. So there's a tool called FileZilla. I'm hoping my credentials are not showing when I open FileZilla, but there's a tool called FileZilla where you can so you can actually see your sites that you've connected to. So these are like this is my site, like three other sites. So this site, I can upload files to it. I can connect into the files itself, and then upload files here to it directly without having to log in or anything. So it's for easy access. And these things, it becomes very useful when you want to do things like uploading manual files to your WordPress site to maybe debug. So, for example, there was a time where I got logged out of my account, and I had to manually go into the WordPress WordPress config files and change some things there to get access to it. So with that one, I'll use the FTP to do that. Okay, so email accounts, meaning like maybe duke.com, sorry, maybe duke@duke.com or hello@duke.com. You can create like 10 of those, and that's your limit. This one is some security. They give you like occasional security tips for your site. I think this is the only one I don't really. Okay, so it says refers to the number of inodes, files, folders, and emails you're allowed to store in your hosting account. Okay, cool. All right, so with that said, we'll go with this one. If you want to, you can also go with this one, which gives you 9 add-on domains. And so I think for the change in this one is just the number of email accounts, and then the fact that it has 50 gig and unmetered. So depending on the site, the size of your site, you might go for this or this. So let's stick with this one for now. Click on it. Then they ask you to create the domain you want. So let's say Kofi Ajo Lolo whatever.com. Let's check whether it's available. Oh, it's available. So okay, there's actually 170 CDs, like I was saying. So if you want to renew it, you pay 170 CDs for the previous years. So that's how much the domain will cost after the first year. Then you click on add to cart. Let me check something here. Add to cart. Okay, so it says here suggested domains. Okay, no, I just want the one I choose. So add to cart. And then let me proceed. So it says it gives me all the options so that I can confirm this is what I want to do. It tells me 300 for the first year, or I can choose to pay differently, and they give me like a slight reduction. Let me see how much reduction I'm giving. So that means they just take 5 CDs off. Oh, come on. I mean, I don't think I would decide to pay 2 years upfront just for a 5 CD discount. Let me see. This 10 CD discount, right? Yeah, 10 CD discount for 3 years. I'll just stick with the first year 300, then create my username, password, site name, blah blah blah. And when that is done, I get access to like a. Let me see if I've opened it here. Yeah, I get. Okay, so I get access to something like this. So this is me, my account. Let me log in. So once you pay for this here, you get access to something like this, where you see the services, the domains. So this is my domain. For me, I paid for the first year upfront, and then I paid for like an additional year. So mine will expire in 2026. So I click on it. So this is where you see your domain. You can do anything you need to do with it. Recurring amount 180 CDs every year. That will be the recurring amount, 180 CDs every year. If I want to renew it, I can renew it now. You can pay mobile money, credit card, whatever. It's convenient. So this is where it takes me to. So let's assume I've bought the domain and the hosting now. And let's not forget, we want to migrate the site over to the domain I just bought. So now I have the domain. I go to services. Then I look for the control panel or the admin stuff. So I click on manage here. And then I scroll down. I go to, where are you? Yeah, this one, cPanel. So it takes me to like the control panel of my site. I get to have so many options here. I won't go into all of them. I'll just tackle on a few. So this is email account. This is where you create the emails you want to use for your site. The 10 emails they've given you. This is where you create them. Billing and support, you hardly ever come here. File manager, you may come here at one point in time. And this is backup. If you want to create like automated backups, or like you want to back up your site maybe today because you want to maybe, I don't know, migrate your site or something, you come here. Then PHP my admin. This is if you want to manage the database stuff of your site. You really come here as well. So these domains is where you want to create like additional domains, maybe duke.com. You want to create um like subdomains out of the duke.com. Like I've created subdomains out of my actual domain. So I think I was exploring a dark theme for my site, so I created a dark dot. Let me see if I type the wall. Is it this? Let me see, new. Okay, no, not this. Is it? Okay, I mean, I've forgotten the name. Let me check here. So let me just go to domains. Oh, okay. I think I deleted that one. Okay, so this is like creating add-on, like maybe a different like so this for my blog. I created blog.kinderijima.com, and this is for the new site I was exploring. Okay, this is a white theme. Okay, no, yeah, so I was exploring this one for my site, but like and a dark theme as well, but I later switched to something else. Okay, I can even delete this one. I don't need it anymore. Let me just delete it here. So I can remove domain. Yeah, I'm not using it anymore. Okay, so I have 4 now. That's fine. Yeah, it's a little cleanup. Okay, so let me go here now and see if that is removed. Network like cache. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the PHP my admin stuff. This is like if you want to manage the database, the SQL, PHP stuff, you come here to manage them. Okay, cool. So where were we? Here. Okay, so this one, if you want to see your metrics, the number of visitors on your site, the bandwidth currently being consumed, you come here. You may never even come here at all. You may use this site, especially this one, which is also here. I'll come to it in a bit. So this is actually where you do most of your WordPress management. This side, which is also here. The rest you may not need them. This one, cron jobs. For those who do backend, you would understand what a cron job is. So you want to run a cron job on your site, you can do it here. Password and security, changing your settings. If you want to use like a SitePad is something like a website builder, similar to WordPress. It gives you like themes as well. If you want to explore that, you can come here. And then yeah, I think this for the most part, this is where you do your stuff. So here you click on this. Then once you open it, so you see you click on install. So it says install a fresh copy of WordPress. So you click on install, and then they ask you what domain you want to install it on. So you just choose your default domain, or you can create a new domain from the domains option that I showed us earlier. Let me see if I can go back. So you can create a new domain from there, like maybe a test domain. Let me go there again so that we see how we can create a new domain. So you can go here, click on create a new domain. So you are either using your main domain or you're creating a subdomain. So let's say test dot, then I can create a new subdomain.com. Then once I submit, it will show up here. So I can just choose that one or use the main one. Then I don't need to touch anything else. I just come down here, maybe change the site name to anything, or I can just stick to the default. But this is important. You have to add the WordPress admin username and password here, email here. If you want, you can toggle, like these are like plugins you may want to have or not. You can toggle or leave it blank and you install your own plugins later. So when you're done, you just click on quick install, then it installs it for you. And when it does install it for you, you would see something like this. Something like this now. So you can easily click on login and it will log you in directly without having to like do any username password stuff, or you can like actually log in based on what you want. So now let's okay, so back to what we want to do. We want to migrate the site, right? So let me come back here. So let me create a new domain just for that migration. Let me call it migration.skindavidjima.com. Or maybe I'll use my iPage one because this one is like my current professional one. The iPage one, I still have it. I've paid for it till next year, but I don't use it anymore. So let me use the iPage one. So this is iPage as well. This is their backend. So domains. Okay, cool. So let me see domains. No, not this one. I can't seem to find. Okay, yeah. So subdomains. So this is where you go to create like subdomains of your main domain. Let me see. Okay, so this is where I went to create domains for all of us. The Eunice, Linda, Duke, Victoria, and I gave it like a. So I can create one here as well. Subdomains migration, and then you can only use hello, create this. Yeah. So let me call it migration. All right, so I've created migration currently. So it's called migration.kingsleyddavid.com. So I'm going to use this to have the migration. You don't have permission to access the server. Okay. Sorry, Did the switch to iPage confuse any of us, or we are okay? At least we understand what is happening here. Hello? Hello, can you go on mute and let me know so that I know how to proceed?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, what did you say? Which?
They switched from host to iPage just to create like the subdomain, confuse any of us, or we are following?
Oh, we are following. For me, I'm
Okay,
following. I don't know.
that's Eunice. How about Victoria, Chris, and Duke? Hello.
Me,
Hi,
I am
Casey. I'm
following.
also following.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Chris? Okay, maybe
Hello,
Chris is not with us. Yeah, hello.
I'm here. Oh, hello, can you hear me?
You're following.
Great. So I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
So it's like during our cohort, we also configured a server we hosted on, I think, a Linux server, virtual one, CentOS. So I wanted to find out whether the configurations that we did like on the HTTPD server will do same on situation or use case like this, or with this use case, it's all about the user interfaces that we'll be working with.
Why the one you did, you were doing a lot of like coding stuff. It wasn't UI.
Yeah, it was terminal stuff.
Oh no, this one is all UI stuff. Yeah, this is all UI stuff. No terminal stuff to confuse you people. So you won't have any.
In
You
somewhere
don't
that
have
you
to.
can.
Sorry.
Is there any option where you can do with the terminal stuff, or it's all
I mean,
about?
why would you want to complicate your life? Like
No, no, I
why?
want to understand. I
I
want to
mean,
understand because there's
well,
there's
it depends on
one.
what you want to do with the terminal. If you just want to look like you are doing the hard ones by using the terminal, that's up to you. But I think there's an option here. Let me. So I mean, and also it depends on what you want to do with the terminal. So is it something related to security? You can come like, so for example, with host, like these are the GUI stuff. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. So as you can see here, there's advanced here. Maybe you want to do a cron job that requires the terminal stuff. You come here, click on it. So it depends on what you want to do. But if you are saying something like maybe you want to create a subdomain like kofi.craze.com, and with the one you are used to, you have to use a terminal to do that. But in this case, you don't use the terminal, you use the like, a UI to do that. And I don't know what else to say than at least it's making your life easier. But there should be an option somewhere to use a terminal. I just don't need to stress my life because my life's already stressed. So yeah. So back to where we were. So after we create a subdomain with so much like the option I showed here for host where you click on install, with iPage, you click on the domain and then you click on WordPress, like site builders WordPress. You click on the WordPress, then it kind of like when you click on the get started, it creates it for you. But then the last time I did this, as we all know, I couldn't get access to it anymore. So I'm going to use a different approach, which is also one reason I loved using iPage a lot. I'm going to use their support to get me help, like to create it for me. And I want us to watch the interaction very, very well. Hi, I would like to create a WordPress installation on my migration dot username. Username is maybe let me call it Kingsley, and then email. Okay, let me just type username Kingsley. So I just told them this, and then I'll let them create it for me. Okay, so support for existing products, web hosting, I think. Yeah. So iPage is very, very supportive when you need help. Like they are very quick to help you. Okay, good. Oh, maybe I might also have them have a look into the domains I created for all of us that wasn't working. Yeah, I think I'll do that as well. Because I still don't understand why it's still not working. I tried it today, it wasn't working. So theme or plugin issue, yes. Okay, let me choose install WordPress for now. May I please have your first and last name to provide to your agent? So Kingsley Chima. I may have to go off at some point because they will ask for credentials. What's the domain name associated to the account you are contacting us about today? So let me type this one. Okay, sure. So I would like to create okay. Also, I created okay. Let me just stick to the first reason, and then maybe in our interactions, I'll have them look at the issue and fix it as well. Let me get you. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, so they'll get back to us. So while they do, let me get the domains I created for us and then have them take a look at why it's not working as well. Okay, so let me okay, all right, so let me save the details here. So I would ask them to have a look at it for me when they get back. Okay, so this is I created these domains from the site builder, but cannot access them anymore. Can you please help? You can reset it to have username of Kingsley and password Kingsley. No, if it helps, let me make it this way. If it helps, can reset it to have username. Okay, so they've gotten back to me. Let me go and check. Excuse me. Okay, so it says, let me, okay, hi Kingsley, I'm Pratik and I'll be assisting you today. So this is like real life demo of things that you actually do on the job. Hi Pratik. Awesome. Okay, so Pratik should probably focus on helping me solve the issue and not ask how I'm doing. Let's move on. Okay, so I mean he's being polite, so I guess that's nice. Hope you're doing well. Hi Pratik, thanks. Okay, so let's see what he says. So while that is going on, okay, let's move on. Oh, okay, so here. Okay, so while this is going on, let me come back here and then also talk about this. So now to migrate it, we'll need to have a plugin called Duplicator. It's going to duplicate your site and then allow you to migrate it to a different hosting. So I go to my dashboard, plugins, and then I come here and then I click on add new plugin. I search for it. It's called Duplicator. The other ones actually, but I think Duplicator is the one I've used extent most of the time. So while that is loading, let me also check the chat. Okay, he's yet to get back to us. Okay, so this one, it says migration and backup plugin. As you can see, 1 million plus installations. It's very used, widely used, and also usually updated 2 weeks ago. It's compatible with my version of WordPress. So I click on install now. Then I go and check on the messaging. Okay, so this is the part where I'll have to go offline. So let me, sorry, go off video, I mean. So let me go off video and then we can I can continue the interactions with him. Um okay, so I've authenticated my account, so I'm waiting for him to get back to me. Okay, cool, perfect. Continue sharing. All right, so in the meantime, so the Duplicator Pro plugin is installed, so I'm going to activate it. And okay, so now that that is done, so this one is if I want to opt in to get notifications, which I do not want to. So here you say it says no packages found. Click create new to archive site. So it's basically going to archive my site. Then I can migrate it to where I want to go. So I click on create new, and then it gives it a name, which is prefixed by the date and then the name of the site. So I choose all the things I want to back up. But hold on, let me go and respond to the support agent, because with iPage, if you don't respond to them in a certain time frame, I think they disconnect your connections. Okay. Okay, cool. Let me awesome. So I wanted to connect to my monitor so that I can okay, so sorry, I'm still syncing with the iPage people. All right, cool. All right, so I guess I have it solved here the way I want. Okay, so I've put the iPage interactions on. Okay. All right, so I guess I can share my screen and we can continue. So the screens have gone, like the authentication stuff has gone up. So uh, okay, so I can keep on sharing comfortably. Okay, cool. So these are okay, so this is the interaction. Yeah, that'll be okay. All right, cool. So I also told them to look into the domains I created for all of us. So maybe when he's done, he can fix that as well, and we can all have access to it. Okay, cool. Okay, so back to this. Okay, so here I choose the options I want. So it will create it on the server. If I want, I could let it back it up to like Google Drive, which I would recommend we do. So I've gotten in a lot of scenarios, not a lot actually, scenarios where the client didn't renew their hosting and then they lost their whole site. I think it happened once, and after that experience, I've always been conscious to do this, which is I create like automated backups with Google Drive and sometimes Dropbox. So it always backs up the sites every month. So anytime something crazy happens, I have okay. So this says please be on hold for a few minutes while I install WordPress. Okay. Yeah, so these people, if you don't respond to them in some time frame, they can just disconnect you and stop supporting you. So I always have to be active so that I don't delay replying for more than 2 or 3 minutes. All right, so you can set that up here where you set it up with Google Drive and all of that. Some of these services require like a paid plan before you can do that. Some too are free, so you can look into that. There's one called Backup Buddy. That one is free. It backs up the site every month, or depending on the period you choose, weekly, monthly, daily. Just that your drive will become very big and you may run out of space. Okay, so default content. I choose where I want to store it. Then let's usually you can leave it as default. So you see, it's going to archive everything actually for you. So you don't really need to go through all these options. You just need to choose the backup and it will automatically select everything. So you click on next. So it scans your site and just gives you a look at what it might look like. So it says it will take 344 megabytes to compress this site for me, which I think is fine. The database is 8 megabytes. Okay, that's also fine. So I click on build when I'm ready, and then it builds it up for me. So while this is happening in the background, I'm going to go to iPage and wait for their support to get back to me. And while this is going on, let me double check on the Stoma host. Sorry. Stoma host here. Okay, cool. So I probably don't need Stoma host at this point since I'm using iPage. But we'll come to this if anything goes wrong with the iPage and I want us to use Stoma host instead. Where are we? iPage. Okay. So this is backing up. Okay, it's done. That was quick. So when it's done, I can download. So we have the installer and we have the archive. So the installer, I'll recommend that one. It does like everything for you in terms of using the duplicator plugin to bring your sites online. Then the archive is like it gives you a packaged file that you can import. So I've downloaded both files. Let me double check. Yeah. So the installer and then the archive. It says copy installer name to clipboard, show installer name. Let me see the installer name. See what. Oh, okay. Yeah, installer.php. Cool. So you see, it's showing us how to install the package. So it says install to an empty directory like a new WordPress install does. Then quickly overwrite an existing. Okay, so import. So you import the archive and override the site. That's basically how you would do it. Let me just see how this guy should hurry up with the installation. Okay, cool. So while this is going on, I'm going to pause and then ask if you have any questions so that I can answer them. No questions? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Kingsley, for me, for
Hi.
me, I feel like I would have to rewatch the video. So for now, no
Oh,
questions, but maybe later on,
okay,
because
okay.
I'm trying to follow up and like see what you're doing and all that.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
Hello, Dada King.
Yeah, hello.
Great. So, yeah. So I wanted to know whether you do another session like this for non-WordPress projects?
I think I did. I don't know if you followed, because at a point I said if it's not WordPress, this is the option you choose for the hosting.
Oh, okay.
Or which part are you talking about for non-WordPress? Because this is domain and hosting for any kind of site, whether it's WordPress or
Okay.
not WordPress.
Okay. So, I mean, when you get the hosting credentials, then you go in there. There's a section where you can go for the non-WordPress, right?
Let me just go through right now, just in case you missed that.
I
So
missed
when you
it.
click on hosting here,
Okay.
when you click on hosting, so this is where we chose the WordPress. So I mentioned you choose this one if it's like a coding on WordPress site. So you click
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Okay, maybe let's go through the plans while we wait for the iPage to get back to us.
Okay.
So here it also gives you, it's almost like the same thing. It's not almost, it's the same thing basically. So it gives you this, and you go to the options to place the order, create your domain, and then you also get your dashboard like I showed here. So in your case, you would use the file manager. In your case, you use the file manager to upload the files
Okay.
that you need to upload, which is also available in the WordPress. So it's like the same thing. It's not really, just that with the WordPress, they kind of customize the UI a bit so that you can easily find the WordPress manager. But you likely get the same thing. Then you
Okay.
choose maybe file manager here. Where's the file manager? File manager here. And then you can upload whatever files you need to upload. So the public.html will probably be where you would upload your files. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you should be fine. Yeah. Nothing so different. All right, cool. Still loading. Still loading. So I think I want to stop recording, but if there was a way to pause the recording, I would have paused it, but it looks like there's no way unless I stop it entirely. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay. So we are waiting for the agent to get back to us. Let me just give him a, okay, no, let me not give any pressure. Let's wait for him to get back to us. Okay, he's gotten back to us. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm afraid he's taking a, um, all right. So while we wait for the agent to get back to us, we've already done this. So the next step will basically will be to import the site. This taking too long. Let me just switch to using my own domain here, which will take fairly quicker than he's doing. So let me call it migration. I didn't want to go through this route, but it looks like I have to. I don't want us to take long since I'm recording the video. So submit. Okay, so I just click on WordPress Manager here. And then I click install. I choose the domain here. Yeah, quick install. Ask me for username and password. So let me just use some default stuff for now. Admin email. Let me just type something. Hello world. Okay. Click on install. Okay, click on install here. Password strength must be greater than 60. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, come on. It's not greater than 60 already. Oh no. Okay, let's see what we have here. Double check. Okay, I think it should work this time. Okay, so it's doing the install. So this is also loading. So let's see which one gets done quicker. Oh, that was quick, like I said. So with WordPress, you just add WP admin and you can log into the site. So I'm logged in now. Beautiful. So this is how my site looks like currently. Yeah. So okay, so we are done. So now we need to install the duplicator plugin on the sites as well. Sorry, I know I keep coming back there. So duplicator plugin on the site as well. So the source and the destination have to have the plugin. So I install it now. I click on activate when it's done installing. And then I skip this. All right, so this is a new, so let's watch this closely. So this is a fresh installation of a WordPress site, and this is the duplicator plugin, and this is what we want to copy over. This is what we want to copy over. This is what we want. This is what we want to copy over. And as I mentioned, we use the duplicator plugin to create a backup, which we downloaded. So now the next step is to go to the destination, click on import. Then it said override as a WordPress site with drag and drop import. So this is just a feature where they want to sell you in on like a sell you in on their pro, so which we don't necessarily need for this purposes. Okay, hold on. So hold on.
Kingsley,
Yeah.
whilst you're going on, I have a very silly question. I don't know if it will make sense. Is it possible to like, the way you are trying to use a duplicator plugin to export it
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
a host? Is it possible to probably use that to export and probably use this Nextlify and then the rest to host it, or it won't work? If
No.
it's just for showcase, not for like commercial purpose.
Netlify.
Yeah.
Netlify doesn't kind of like support the WordPress kind of like architecture at the moment.
But is there any other hosting sites? But not you necessarily having to buy a domain name and all that. Maybe it's just for
Like a
showcase.
free.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Ye-
putting it out there, not necessarily to commercialize it, but just for showcase.
and also not using the live link option.
Yes, yes, yes. Probably you see the one that I worked on. Probably I just want to add it to my project section in Upwork.
Oh, like a
It's not.
portfolio.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, so that's a good question. So in that case, you can use a 000 web host. I think Chris asked a similar question that I shared in the chat. Is 0 web host is like a free domain, but it's for 7 days. That's the thing. That's the catch. It's for 7 days. So 0
Then
web
it
host.
defeats the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So as it stands now, I have no easy way out. I think in your case, what I can do for you, or what I've actually done for a lot of people, mostly mentees, is I give them like a subdomain. I give them a subdomain from my end, and then they can do whatever
Mm.
they want to do with it. So you see how I created the victoria.kinsleydavid.tech for you.
Yeah.
So I can create like 3 for you, then you can host your site on it.
Oh,
That's kind
okay.
of like what you can do. But like, yeah, so far I don't know any free that can like host it like Netlify does. No. So I think I showed us one this site. This site is a subdomain on my site. It's not my site. I created it for one of my mentees, and then he built his this site on it to pitch to a client. So this is one approach you can use in your instance. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So um packages. It's not available in duplicator light override. Oh, okay. I don't know. Wow. They've actually okay. It looked like this option was for those who wanted to use the drag and drop, but it looks like it doesn't even allow any kind of importing unless you go to the paid plan. Wow, that's a very smart move, but also very painful to know because we need to import the site right now. Okay, so let me see. Look for another way. Okay, so I'll be back. So this said copy installer, download package files, installer archive. Okay, so let's read the document together because I'm literally debugging on the fly, which we would also be doing when we run into some things like this. So here, I didn't expect them to ask for a backup, so I went here to see how to override the backup, and then this is okay. So this is what I want to do. Okay, okay. So it says I can overwrite it in both the light and then the pro version. Okay. So I can create a backup here. I'll then download it. So I'll copy the backup to the site directory. Copy the backup to the site directory. So this is where the FTP becomes useful. So I'll copy the backup to this folder and then open the site. Copy the installer and the archive. Okay. Oh, okay. So these are the steps. Got it. Got it. So I'll do that. Directory of the okay. So let's see. Zip. Okay, cool. Run the installer.php file. Oh, okay, okay. So this is how it works. If I'm not using the pro version, so if I was using the pro version, I would have just gone here, clicked, just dragged or uploaded the 2 files, and it would do everything for me. But without the pro version, I have like a slightly longer process, but it's fine. We would do it. So let me go to WordPress Manager and then open the one for the site, or actually file manager in this case. So open my file manager. So from the steps they said what I should open the public HTML folder to the site directory of the existing WordPress destination sites using FTP, and then I should upload these things there. Okay, so I'm going to open this. Okay, so this is the site, the file manager for the site, and then I'm going to upload the files. So it says here, so downloads, these are the two files. So this one, and then this one. So they say maximum allowed file is 7.7 gig. Okay, cool. So while that is uploading, I go and read the documentation, and then they are like, so once I'm done with that, I'll just enter my site name and add /installer, right? So let me even do that or prep that before. Okay, it's done. So I've uploaded the files. Let me go back, confirm I see them here. So it's here, the installer is here. So what this means is now I just go to migration.kingdavidchima.com, put a /installer.php, press enter, and then it would do all the steps for me. Wow, this is amazing. So okay, so archive file name, how to get archive file name. Yeah, because I mean, okay, so this is the name. Let me click on how to get it, see what they'll tell me. Because I want to know whether I should add this .zip and stuff. Okay. Really? It says it downloads 3 files, but I got only 2. Let me double check here. Yeah, I got just 2 files. Okay, maybe I don't know, but I think I'll just use, so the name hash time. Okay, so name hash time. So let me check this one. Name hash. This is the hash and this is the time. Okay, okay. Yeah, so this is my file name. Okay. So I guess I need to know which one we are submitting to them as the file name. Okay, so let me just copy this. Double check. Okay, it's copied. iPage has gotten back to us, so let's see what they are saying. I thought I heard them. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So I guess it's still taking longer than expected. Cool. Okay, so while that is happening, let's just continue. Okay, so all right, so that's the name. So there's a full name underscore archive.zip. So that's what we have here. Submit. And then from the steps they mentioned, they said so verify and continue with the pre-filled database input from the existing WP config settings. Proceed through these steps and log into your newly overwritten WordPress site. Okay, so let me come back here. So they said we should just continue. Sorry, let me read the steps again. Verify and continue. Okay. Okay, cool. So let me continue. Override install. Yeah, so this is a full install. Yes. Let's see. Full. Click the apply button. Okay, and set the okay. So this okay, so let me just click on apply basically. Okay. Okay, looks like I have to click apply, and then yeah, so this would replace clear or site data. This process cannot be undone. So it looks like I have to read and accept all the terms. Um, Okay, so I click on next. So they tell me everything will be all right. And mind you, if anything goes wrong, you can't really recover your previous site because it's going to overwrite everything. So extracting archive files. Said dash keep this window open, which I'm going to do. Okay. So while this is going on, okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and then okay, cool. So 8 minutes, 8%, sorry. Okay. So I think it's doing its magic in the background. So this was the previous site. Okay, 83% installing database. So it's just going to go through these steps and hoops, and then waiting for what happens next. Just wish I could pause the recording somehow. Okay, so IP has gotten back to us saying thank you for your patience. And what are they saying again? Still typing. But we don't need that anymore since we've already set it up on this one, so it's fine. We do need them to fix your domains, the one I created for all of you. Or I mean 4 of you, sorry. Okay, so it's doing the data replacement as well. So this is just going to go and go and go and go. I don't think we need to be watching this. Okay, so in the meantime, okay, it's final WordPress test. Let's see how it goes. Nice. So they said click the admin login button to log in and finalize this install. So they recommend you to auto delete the installer file, which is true. Because if you keep it on your file, on your file manager, and someone manages to do that, they can literally like remove your site and put something on it. So you need to delete that file. It says log into the WordPress admin to remove all installation files and finalize the install process. This install is not complete until all installer files have been completely removed. Leaving installer files on the server can lead to security issues. Exactly. So I click on admin login button to finalize the install. I log in here. Okay, I think the password, I use something else. So let me. Oh, wait, what was the password I used? Don't seem to remember. Oh, I do. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay, so let me double check what I use for the migration sites because I can't recall. Manage users, I think. Kingsley. So I can actually change the password from here. So let me do that. Let me use save. Okay, password changed. Let me check. All right, so we have it done. to an extent. So it says installation cleanup has been done, blah 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 blah. Nice. So the site has been successfully migrated. And then according to this plugin, the work is done. So let me go through these options, just normal text. So anyone on your end can check it right now and you see has been migrated, but I'm coming. I'll check for us in a bit. So once this is done, it just gives you notifications of what happened. All right, so let's come here. So we see this is I want to show us the old sites, like the default web. So this is the old site, migration.kinderijima.com. And if I open it in a new tab, we see we have the generation site that was on our local. If you can see here, this is the local site that we had. And in about an hour, we have migrated the site over to the new hosting. Isn't this amazing? Let me see your reactions. But basically, this is something in like an hour. We've migrated the site.
Kingsley, this
Yeah,
feels like deja vu. Like you went through so many things that honestly, I feel like
that's
I
fine.
need to watch the video
But
two or
yeah,
three
yeah,
times to
you definitely
actually
need to rewatch the
know
video.
what's
You definitely will need to rewatch the video. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So yeah, I can assure you most of the projects you get up on Upwork, some would involve migrating someone's site for them. So it was actually a similar project on Upwork that made me learn how to do this because someone needed his site migrated. I'm like, I can't do that. Let me learn how to do that. And then I learned how to do that and I'm able to do that now. So it's definitely a valuable skill to have for yourself and for your clients to have as a freelancer. I think that is it. So iPage has gotten back to us, and they're actually now done with the site migration. Sorry, with the WordPress installation, but we don't even need that anymore at this point. So we are good to go. Yeah. So this is basically how you go about hosting, purchasing a domain and hosting, and then migrating it. So that was a lot in one video. I would be honest here because I could have even done like a dedicated session just for domain and hosting, then a dedicated session for migrating. But I think I did all in one since